Welcome to Bougie and Boring, a spa business podcast. I'm Amanda Louisa, a licensed skincare professional and spa owner. This podcast is all about creating a business that's both high-end and effortless. What I like to call bougie and boring, because the goal isn't chaos and overwhelm, it's simplicity and ease. I'll show you how to build a spa that runs smoothly, feels inspiring, and is so well structured, it practically runs itself. You'll learn how to create a business that's not just successful, but truly enjoyable to own. Let's get right into it. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Bougie and Boring. If you've been following along, you know when it's time to hire, you now know how to write a job post that attracts the right people, the biggest red flags to avoid. And now, with all that knowledge, hiring can still feel very overwhelming. I get it. I hear it all the time. I know I need to hire, but I just don't have the time to go through a bunch of applications. Or I know I need to hire, but I can't find the time to step out of the treatment room and actually find a good candidate. Or I have no idea how to choose the right person. And trust me, I get it. Hiring can feel like a huge task. And especially when you're already stretched so thin running your spa, right? But here's the good news. Hiring does not need to be stressful. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to simplify the hiring process so you can find the right person without feeling like it's just taking over your life. So buckle up, stay tuned, stay with me, and let's get you a great applicant and a great new hire that's going to help you and make your life so much easier. Okay, so let's talk about the common hiring overwhelm traps that I see often, okay? The first one is, I don't have time to go through all these applications. One, you're already busy. So the idea of reviewing resumes and scheduling interviews feels like just so much work. Two, you keep putting it off. So you stay overworked and stay stuck in that same cycle. Or three, when you do look at the applications, you get frustrated by these unqualified candidates, right? So if any of these things sound familiar, or if all of these things sound familiar, it's not that hiring is too hard. It's that you just need a better system for filtering out the bad applicants so that they don't waste your time. Okay. Trap number 2 that I see a lot is, I don't know how to pick the right person. This can be very scary because you don't want to just trust anybody with your spa, right? And it can be very hard to let go of that trust, which is something I talked about in a past episode, but there's this fear that I see often where there's just this fear of not picking the right person. Maybe you've made bad hires before and you're afraid of repeating that same mistake. That is very relatable. I have experienced that. Many of my peers and coaching clients have experienced that. You're not alone, but you can absolutely overcome it and prevent it from happening in the future. So remember, every candidate might seem to look good on paper, but if you're not sure how to really tell who will be the best fit, then it can just be so overwhelming. So, that can be something that comes up for you too. Another thing is you overthink every decision. So you stay stuck and you don't move forward. This is when having core values for your business is really important because you can kind of lean on those when you're feeling indecisive. But if you don't have a clear hiring process in general, then choosing the right esthetician can feel like a guessing game. And you're just hoping that it works, right? But don't worry. I will walk you through the steps to make this so easy, okay? So the first thing is to use a pre-screening process, right? Weed out those bad fits instantly. Most of your hiring stress comes from sorting through unqualified candidates, and maybe there's just so many of them and you're like, I don't even know where to start, but you need built-in filters so that only the right people make it through to you. Okay, how do you do this? Remember, in your job description, include specific instructions like putting a very specific subject line in the email that they send you their resume with. You can also require applicants to answer a short questionnaire like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Or what is your favorite service to do at our spa? Should you be hired? I have a whole questionnaire that I have my potential candidates go through. And this is not to, I'm not hiring them based off of if they're an introvert or extrovert. That's not, first of all, I don't even think that's legal, but it's not about that. It's more to see how self-aware is this person. Do you work well in a team or do you not? Do you know what an MBTI is? All those things, right? So if someone cannot follow basic directions, immediately disqualify them. Delete the email. When someone applies, I have it all it automatically gets uploaded into a Google spreadsheet. And if I see, okay, this person applied, but they did not follow directions, I will highlight that person on the Excel spreadsheet in red. And that tells me immediately, okay, this person's not a good fit. And that's great. So this alone will save you hours because you're not wasting time on applicants who can't even follow those basic directions. Okay. Another thing that I love to do, in fact, I'm even doing it right now as we speak, is batching. Batch your interviews. Save time by interviewing multiple people in one day. That way you kind of have the words easily accessible on the tip of your tongue as you're talking to all these people. You kind of know what to think. You're in the same mood as you're talking to everybody. So instead of scheduling one person at a time, batch them back to back together. This helps you compare candidates side by side so that the best one can really stand out when you are in the same headspace, okay? Set aside one day for interviews, schedule them in back-to-back time slots, just like you would a client. Use a structured set of questions so that you can evaluate everyone fairly, and take notes. Take notes the whole time. Rate each candidate immediately after the interview, right? And remember, trust your intuition, trust your gut. By interviewing multiple people at once, you'll get a clear sense of who stands out because you are doing them all at once. And you won't spend weeks dragging out the process. This will help you, and it will also help them to know if they should move on or not, okay? Now, a big one that I really resisted, and I'm not sure why I resisted this one for so long, because now that I do it, it is probably something that I gain so much information about the client during the process. But doing a test service, right? A practical, basically. See how they actually perform before hiring. Now, I am a really big fan of hiring the smile, training the skill. I'm going to have to train this person, whether they are fresh out of school or they've been in the industry for 15 plus years. I am still going to need to train that person on all the products that we use, all the techniques that we do, and basically how things are ran in our spa. And so even if they don't do a good job in terms of like how you would have done it, do they have good energy? Do they have a good touch, right? Just a general good touch. And just keep in mind that, everyone looks good on paper. A great resume doesn't mean someone's a great esthetician yet. And a test service will really let you see their skills, their attitude, and their professionalism in action, right? So have them perform a basic facial or a waxing service or whatever it is that you're hoping to hire them for, right? and observe how they interact with the client, whether that's you or maybe a team member of yours, a friend of yours, or just a really loyal client that you want to help you with this. Are they warm? Are they professional? Do they, really genuinely care about the person that they're talking to? And ask yourself, would I be comfortable sending my clients to this person? And if the answer is yes, that's great. They can move on to the next one. But if you are noticing that your intuition, or maybe they do something, I don't know, like one person, I have a story about this. So I have one coaching client that said that she did the practical with an esthetician, and right before going into the treatment room, the esthetician burped loudly, like everyone heard it. And she said it wasn't a belch, but it was like just a burp that was not a little tiny, hiccup type of thing, which we have all been there, right? When we're talking to someone and we have just like something come up in our throat or whatever. I get that. But that to me was just not professional. And so obviously, whenever I'm talking to a coaching client, I will tell them, I'm just offering advice, and what I would do, it's ultimately up to you. But that to me, if that is how she's behaving in a job interview, once she gets comfortable, it's not going to be, it's not going to get better. So, a test service removes all the guesswork. You'll know right away if they're going to meet your standards, right? And you'll know if they're going to be teachable. Saying something at the end like, I really like how you interacted with the client and how warm you are. I would recommend in the future that you just use a little more eye contact with them, or maybe, ask them, do they, so as at the time of recording this, it's almost March 2025. And so we just celebrated Valentine's Day. And so a question that me and my team have been asking our clients is, did you have a good Valentine's Day? Was it enjoyable? Did you do anything? Do you celebrate it? Just kind of making like genuine small talk with them. And, if you notice that the candidate is really, really quiet, maybe something you do is point that out and see how they react to the feedback. See how they take that constructive feedback from you. And if they don't take it well, that is an indication that they might not be a good fit for you, right? So those are all of the things I would, those are all the things that I would use and tell my coaching clients when they're feeling overwhelmed by the hiring process. So just know that this is all normal, especially if maybe you've been burned in the past, or this is your very first time hiring, you're not sure where to even start or what to do. This is a great way to kind of get your feet wet and get that process going, okay? So your next step is to make an outline of a step-by-step hiring process that fits well with your spa and your own bandwidth, right? So that you can follow it every single time. This is called an SOP, a standard operating procedure, right? Start using this pre-screening method that I've mentioned in a couple episodes now to filter out those bad candidates that can't follow directions or be resourceful, and batch schedule your interviews, right? So make your time more efficient so that you are not prolonging this way longer than it needs to be. Okay. Coming up next, I'm going to talk about how to structure an interview to find the perfect fit, because asking the right questions is key to making the best hire. So thank you so much for tuning in. I cannot wait to talk to you in the next one. I'll see you then. Bye. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe or share with a spa owner friend. You can also leave a review on iTunes and in the comments section, ask any question you want, and I'm so happy to answer it right here on the podcast. Ready for the next step? Schedule a free 30-minute discovery call to see how I can help you with your business. You can also head over to amandaluisaconsulting.com and grab a free resource. I've got so many good ones over there. Whether it's hiring, paying yourself more, overcoming burnout, I've got you covered with resources to help make your business bougie and boring. Peace and love, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.